What's up, everybody? Welcome to day number 6 of the One Funnel Away Challenge. We're like more than halfway done, which is crazy. I hope you are learning a lot. I hope the last day you had a chance to go play inside of ClickFunnels and see how simple and easy it actually is. You're like, man, I could actually do this. I still remember the very first time I got access to ClickFunnels. And again, I had 2 co-founders, Todd Dickerson and Dylan Jones, who were building ClickFunnels. And their whole job, I think it's because I was probably the most annoying client they ever had. Like, I was building so many funnels and I couldn't do anything. So I was like just making videos, telling them how to change things and tweak things. They're like, how do we get it so that Russell can just do this on his own? Which is partly why we actually created ClickFunnels initially. But I remember when they were doing it, they would have me log in and have me make a video myself as I was building the funnel to see like if I got stuck or if I got confused, wherever I was at. So I would try stuff and I would like try to build it. And I was having so much fun. I'm like, I can actually move the headline by myself. I can change the text. Like, this is like so much fun. But they see me get stuck, and then I send them the video, and they're like, they were watching me getting, doing the video, getting stuck somewhere, and they're like watching my mouse move around, like, I don't know how to do this thing, and they're like, the button was right there, Russell, you missed it. So they tried to make it simpler and simpler, and so the initial goal was like, if we make this so simple that Russell could actually do it, then anybody could. And so it's the spot now where I actually build funnels, I can actually do it, and you guys can do it as well. And I hope you saw that and felt that, and I hope you're excited to kind of play with this. So, okay, today we're gonna shift focus a little bit. We're gonna come back to funnel building tomorrow, but today we're gonna need to like create the actual presentation that's gonna sell your product or your service, okay? That's the key, because a funnel's only as good as the copy or the words on the page, okay? Now, if you wanna be an expert, you gotta go out there and you actually have to to sell the product or service you're selling, right? And so that's kind of the game plan for today, is like creating the actual presentation. Now, if you really wanna go deep on this, what I recommend doing is I have a whole training course called The Perfect Webinar. You can get that inside the Marketing Secrets membership site here, inside of ClickFunnels. Like, it's all in there. Like, if you want to go deep into the Perfect Webinar, or read the Expert Secrets book, which is all about the perfect webinar. Like I want you to go deeper, but for today, we're going to do a simpler version, okay? And this is the version that's going to get you to the finish line and get you selling stuff right now. But the better you get at selling the product and service, the more money you're going to make, okay? So this is kind of like, selling online 101. If you want to go to like 201 and beyond, like go deep into the Perfect Webinar, okay? But this first stuff is going to give you the context you need to actually start being successful, okay? So there's a couple pieces of this, and I'm going to take you to a couple different events to teach you these pieces because they all kind of stack on each other, okay? First thing you have to understand is the Epiphany Bridge. Then you have to understand the Epiphany Bridge script. After the Epiphany Bridge script, then we need to actually understand what's called the who, what, why, how close. So we can actually close in the script, and then a couple other things, okay? So it's going to be really fun. So I'm going to take you to a couple different places to learn these things, okay? So the very first thing I'm gonna show you guys is what's called the Epiphany Bridge. If you understand this is gonna teach you the right way to sell. Most of you guys right now, especially if you're excited about your product or service, you are selling through logic, which is why you're not getting the results you want. You have to shift from logic to emotion. Okay, it's a little tweak, but when you shift that way, it'll change everything. We learn that and understand that by what's called the Epiphany Bridge script, okay? Again, you can read about it inside the Expert Secrets book, but right now, I'm gonna show you guys a very quick clip of one of the very first times I ever taught the concept of the Epiphany Bridge. When you understand this, it'll unlock everything else we need to do to help you start selling online. So with that said, check out the Epiphany Bridge. And so the way you create belief is through story. If you look at the way that sales happen today versus even like 5 or 6, 10 years ago, like it used to be like copy. And I think that today and moving forward in the future, it's story. And it's emotional story told the right way, because you can lie through copy really, really easy. It's really hard to sell through story. People can, especially nowadays where like, most of us, it's not a PowerPoint style video, like reading words off I have a voiceover guy reading words anymore. It's like you in front of the camera, and people will know if you're sincere or not based on what you say and how you say it. And so I'm gonna kind of walk through that. So the first thing, and I know we've talked about this a lot in the inner circle, but I want to share it with everyone again just because it's so important. So kind of the backstory on how this started coming together in my head. I've talked about Prove It a couple times. So Prove It is a network marketing company that sells little packets of white powder, like look like this, and you drink it, and then you put your body in ketosis within like 5 minutes, right? And so my buddy started this company, and I'd been in a company with him prior called Ripplin. Does anyone remember Ripplin? So he created this company. You signed. Yes. I closed you guys before I even knew you. So he started this company. It was a really cool idea. He had me come in. I did all the videos and the story, all that kind of stuff. And we launched it. Went from 0 to 1.5 million people within a 6-week period of time. And it was like gonna be my big payday. And then they didn't ever make the product, which sucked, and the whole thing imploded. And I lost like 6 months of my life. But I learned some good lessons and made some good friends. And I realized I would never do network marketing again, no matter how much money somebody paid me. So that was how that whole thing ended. And then like 2 years later, Brian, who's the owner, calls me. He's like, "Hey man, I got my next thing. Like, you want to be part of it?" I was like, "No, dude, I will not ever be part of that again." Like, I went through a lot of pain, and that was not fun. And he's like, "Well, you got it, man. We got this new thing." He's trying to pitch me on this thing, right? And I'm like, "No, dude. Like, I love you, but I I got stuff happening. So anyway, then he kept bugging me, and then one day he's like, "What's your address again?" And I told him, and then like 2 days later, I get in the mail like this postal envelope. And I open it up, and there's 2 white baggies full of white powder with magic marker written that says Keto OS on it. And I'm pulling out these 2 baggies with no instructions, no anything, just random white baggies. I'm like, okay, I don't know what this is, but I'm really like nervous. And then I'm like, dude, what's this? He's like, oh, just try it. Like, try it. I'm like, I don't know if I trust you enough to just like get a bag of white powder and drink it because you told me to try it. Like, that's kind of freaky. And anyway, so I didn't. I put it in the envelope next to like my fridge, and it was there for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then one day I was heading to church. I woke up in the morning late, and I got 5 kids. We're getting them all ready, and I was leaving out the door, and I didn't have time to eat, and I was hungry. And Mormon church is long; it's like 3 hours, and there's meetings, and like it's a big deal, right? So I'm like, crap, I don't have anything to eat, and I saw like the magic powder like glowing, like oh. So I went, and I'm like, okay, I'll try it. So I put it in, shake it up, drink it, and it tasted like candy. I was like, this is awesome. And I went through church the whole day and everything else. Came home that night, and I was like, I'm not hungry. I have energy, like. Whatever it was, like I was like, this is really good. So I called Brian back up. I'm like, hey man, that was awesome. I want more of that, of the magic white powder. And which is usually how I think most of these things start, right? And he's like, we don't have any. We're like, that was some samples. It's going to be 6 to 8 weeks before I get any more. And I was like, dude, you can't like if a drug dealer gave you like, anyway, I'm just assuming that's not, anyway. So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I want some more. So finally, a couple months later, he gives me some more. And then he's like, you should really be part of this. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be part of it. He's like, well, can I put you on my board and I'll pay you something just to like ask your advice? And I was like, I don't even know what that means, but I don't know. So finally he's like, well, I wrote a sales letter to launch this company. Like, will you look at it? I'm like, sure, send it over. So he emails it to me, and I read this thing, and it was like so painful. It was like the worst thing I'd ever seen, ever, by far. And I knew that like me trying to explain to him how to do it right would have taken longer than me just doing it. So I'm laying in bed, it's at 2 a.m. I just highlighted the whole thing, and I deleted it, and I wrote out a script real quick, sent it back to him. He's like, this is amazing. And then we turned it into an animated video. They took it and they launched it. And within the first 6 months, the company did $20 million. I think this year they're on track to like 300 or 400 million in sales. It's just blowing up based on like this story. So he wants me to come and like speak to all these network marketers to like help them, to show them how to use the video to sell more people and all sorts of stuff, right? So I get roped in. I think, do we have it on an episode of Funnel Hacker TV? Did we end up keeping that stuff? Okay, so you guys will see part of this. So Brandon came and filmed this whole thing. So we show up, and Brian is like cool guy, but like the most unorganized person I've ever met ever. So I show up, I'm like, where? Like, I don't know where he's at. So he's like, I'm up in the hotel room. So I get a hotel room. He's up there, and we're talking. I was like, what do you want me to talk about? He's like, oh, whatever you want, man. I'm like, who am I talking to? He's like, oh, it's the top 100 leaders in the company. They're making the most money. I'm like, okay, well, when do we start? And he's like, oh crap, they're down there. Like, it's supposed to start like a few minutes ago. I'm like, what? So like, we get our stuff and we run down, and like Brandon's filmed this whole thing. We walk through like it was like some backdoor kitchens and all this like weird stuff. And it was like so creepy and weird. And then we walk in this room, there's all these people, and I have my backpack on, and then Brian walks to the front and turns around and starts introducing me, and like introduces me, and then like, hey, Russell, and everyone starts clapping for me to come down. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about, or who, like I take the backpack off, I go up front, I'm like, and so I'm looking around, and like on this journey as we're walking through the lobby, what I see is a whole bunch of like eager network marketers with their magic white powder, and they're like pouncing on everybody that walks by, kind of like you used to do, right? Yeah. Like every single person like, pounce on them, and then like these people are freaked out, and they're like pouncing, and they're pouncing, and I'm watching this, and I walk through this room of all these leaders, I come in, I look around, I look in their eyes, and they're all so excited. And all of a sudden I had this like thing like, I know what I need to talk to these guys about. And I drew up on the whiteboard this picture here, but I basically said, you guys, this is you right now. This is everybody, right? And you had a perfectly normal life, everything was good, like everything was fine, and something happened to you. Someone like Brandon came up to you and was like, pounced on you, and like got you excited about this thing, right? Like you drank the magic powder and you're like, that was good. And then like, guess what? Did you know you can actually make money by telling your, like something happened, right? But you had this experience that like emotionally you're like, this is amazing. You had an emotional experience, right? And then that set you off on this journey. So this emotional thing, you had this epiphany of like, wow, this is cool. So it might have been like you drank it and it was like, this is good. Or maybe it was someone told you about you can make money, and that was something happened where like got you excited. And then you went on this journey over here where you started learning. And I'll put glasses on this guy. You start geeking out, right? And you're like, okay, why is this stuff good? Like, I gotta explain to my wife why I just spent $600 on some magic white powder. And you're like learning, you're like, okay, it's got beta hydroxybutyrate salts, it's got this, it's got that. Like, what's the science behind it? And you're studying, and you're going to Google, and you're going to the forums, and you're going to the events, and everyone's telling you stuff, and you're learning all these big, huge words. And then the worst thing possible happens. You start speaking the language of the cult. You start speaking technobabble, right? And you're like, oh, well, the reason why this works is because, in fact, I'm looking at the sea of people, and like, they all had shirts on that said like, ketones is greater than glucose. And like, all of them had these shirts on. And like, I'm looking at these people, and I was like, man, you guys are such nerds. You're so excited. And they're all like, these people are pouncing on like, they see their potential prospect walk by, right? And they're looking, and they're like, okay, this is my chance. It's gonna be so good. And then they pounce on him. The first thing they do is they start spewing out all this technobabble, like, you need this, and you do this, and like, this is ketosis, and this is why you're eating donuts, that's sugar, that's crap, and like yelling at him, like, and the person like watching this and freaks out, right? Go, like, leave me alone, right? And that's how most selling happens, is this right here. Because we had this experience, we bought all in, we geeked out, we learned all this stuff, and then we come to our potential customers, and we start spewing technobabble down on them. And that's why most people suck at selling. Like, that's it. Okay, and I told these people in the group, I was like, did any of you guys join this program because somebody convinced you that glucose was less than ketones? Like, no. I'm like, and then I started asking a bunch of questions like, who here signed up for the company because of the beta hydroxybutyrate salts in the thing? And like, nobody. I'm like, then why are you telling everybody about this crap? Nobody cares. I was like, what was the thing that gave you the original epiphany that got you excited? Because that is the key. Like, that's what you got to figure out. When Brian sent me that script that night, I read it, and he was explaining ketosis, all technical and all these things, and I was like, I don't know what that means. But what I did remember is about 6 months earlier, I was at an event with, it was a marketing event, and after the event, I went out to dinner with one of my friends, his name's Aaron Lilly, and he's like cut and ripped and everything. We're sitting there eating, and I ordered like really good food, and then he ordered chicken with a side of butter, and he's eating chicken, dipping it in butter, and I was like, dude, you were the weird, like, it was so weird to me. I'm like, why are you doing that? And he's like, oh, well, my body's in ketosis. I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, well, how do I explain it to Russell? He's like, well, it's kind of like, imagine you had a campfire, right? And a campfire's burning, and if you get like kindling, you throw it on, what happens? I'm like, it burns really fast and it goes away. He's like, yes, that's like carbs. That's why when you eat Cheerios for breakfast, it like burns really fast and they go away really fast. I'm like, okay. And he's like, proteins are kind of like the kindling, or kind of like logs. Like, you throw those on, they burn a lot longer, but eventually they still burn out. He's like, fat is like coals. It's like the coals, and if you can catch the fat on fire, like, they burn all night long. He's like, my body only burns coals. That's why I'm ripped and I'm shredded. He's like, you're burning off carbs. That's why you're hungry all the time. Your energy goes up and down, all these things. I was like, huh. So that's what explained ketosis to me. So after I deleted Brian's script, I was like, why does this matter to me? And I was like, I remember the story that Aaron told me about. That gave me the epiphany why the whole ketosis conversation was interesting. And so I wrote the script, and if you guys have ever seen it, they call it inside the company the campfire video. And I have a thing like, hey, if you ever build a campfire, it's kind of, and I have the whole thing explaining my epiphany. And that's what sells it, is this. And so for all of you guys, whatever business you're in, there's something that happened. There's some epiphany, there's some story that happened that got you guys excited about what you do. Right? For me, there was a reason why I got interested in funnels. There's a reason why I got interested in wrestling. Like, something happened that caused you to have that epiphany and be like, dang, that is cool. I'm going to go, and this is like something I want to become part of, right? My first question, do you guys remember that? If you don't, sometimes we forget because it's been so long, but do you remember the experience that you had? Because that's like the key to everything we're going to be talking about the rest of today, is that experience that gave you the initial epiphany. And we got to come back over here, and we got to come to, because this is where our potential customers are at. And if I bring any of this crap over here, they're not going to buy. Okay, if I can come back here and I can give them an epiphany and tell them a story, and they have the same epiphany, then it's done. They'll go geek out on their own. They'll figure it all out. They'll be all in. I have to give them this epiphany that I had. That's the key. Okay, so first thing is, I'm kind of going through this. I want you guys thinking back, because there's different stories. We're going to be, after lunch, we're doing a whole story workshop. We're going to be building out a ton of stories. But the first one, we think about, like, what was your origin story? Okay, every good superhero's got an origin story, right? Like, what was your origin story that got you to become who you are, became the superhero? That's the first thing I want you thinking through. All right, so that's the Epiphany Bridge. You guys understand that now? Do you see how it transitioned you from selling logically to selling emotionally? Like it is the key, it is the secret to having success. I promise you, like if you understand that one piece, it's gonna make everything you're doing now moving forward so much more simple, okay? So that's step number one. Now step number two, after I explained to people initially the very first time, the Epiphany Bridge, like, oh, I get it, but like, do you have a script? Like, how does it actually work? And so at the very first ever, we called it a FAT event, a funnel hackathon event. I had all my top Inner Circle members, and in fact, it's funny, if you see any clips from the audience, you'll see, like Kaylin Pohl and Alex Hormozy, like you'll see all of the who's of internet marketers sitting in the room the very first time I taught it. And so I want to show you as a clip from that presentation. This is going to show you the Epiphany Bridge script, okay? And this is the script you're going to be modeling when you actually do your presentation. So pay attention to what I'm talking about. Take notes in your workbook on every single step. We're going to go through the backstory, your internal, external desires, the journey, the wall you hit, the epiphany, like all the pieces here inside of the Epiphany Bridge script, okay? So as we're going through this during the presentation, in your notebook, start taking notes, start thinking through like your parts of the story, because when we come back, you're going to actually be spending some time recording you going through your Epiphany Bridge script. So that said, let's cue up the next presentation, walking us through the Epiphany Bridge script. So this is the magic, and this is going to be the template that all my stories run through now, and it makes this whole concept simple. I want to share the hero's true journey so you guys see from a higher, like here's how the whole thing works. How do we do it for like our intents and purposes? So these are kind of the different pieces of it. I'm going to walk through it all because if you get it all, like it's just really, really powerful. So first thing, first key is we always start with some kind of backstory, right? And part of it is like we talked about hero's true journey. Like people have to care who you are. And the problem is with you as an expert, they're seeing you up on this mountain. They're like, dang, like look how awesome this person is. And if you're up there talking down to them, then there's no empathy. They don't care about you as much. So like for you to have real empathy and impact on someone, you have to get off of wherever you're at, the results you've already achieved, and come back down over here to where they're at and be like, hey man, guess what? I was in this exact same spot. I remember what it was like and it sucked. There's some cool stuff over here I can show you, but like I need to tell. And so you start your journey, your story there, right? And as I'm telling the story, I'm talking about the result I want, like the journey of achievement. I want to achieve this really, really cool thing. And we start going into the desires. Now, with the desires, there's two kind of desires. There's the external desire that most of us are willing to share with people, right? Like, oh, I want to lose weight, or oh, I want to make money, or oh, I want to whatever that thing is, right? And most people only tell people around them, like we're all comfortable sharing our external desires, okay? And for all your business, like that one's usually really, really easy. The reality is like that's not really why people want to do stuff. Like I don't want to lose weight because I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight because of some other, like there's an internal desire that's the real thing that I'm trying to get, that I'm trying to accomplish, right? And so usually to get to the internal, what I usually do when I'm asking someone, if I'm trying to write a script for them or whatever, I start asking them why. Like, well, why did you want to lose weight? Why did you want it? And I keep asking why? And usually it's like 5 or 6 or 7 whys till they break down and they become vulnerable and they're like, this is why. And that's like the interesting thing. And so what happens is when you're telling your story and you come to your backstory and you talk about like, look, I wanted to make money, I wanted to lose weight, and you tell your external desires, they're like, cool, that's what I want to do too. And as soon as you're willing to like say, but the real reason I want to do it is this, and you share this deep internal desire, the same thing that almost everybody has, no one ever talks to that level. And as soon as you do, it's like instant rapport. Where they're like, dang, that's what I want too. I've never told them that because I'm scared, but they just told me. And they were willing to tell me like, oh, like, and all of a sudden it's like instant connection. So for you, it's understand in your story, like, here's the external I want, but then like digging deeper to figure out like why you actually wanted that. Like, and most of you guys know it, sometimes subconsciously, because we hide it, like we're taught to bury those kind of things. But if you ask enough whys, it'll come down to like, boom, I do this because I want to impress my dad, or I want my wife to accept me, or I want my kids to look up to me, or whatever like those core desires are, like that's the real reason, okay? And as you look at Hero's Two Journeys, like the first journey is going after the external desire, and the journey of transformation is actually the internal desires. It's pretty cool when you realize that, right? So that's the first one. So I'm sharing those things initially because I want them to know that I feel what they feel. I've felt that before. And then that brings me now to this wall. So I have these desires, I have these things I want. Then I come to this wall and I'm stuck. And what I realized that morning, a week and a half ago, guess what that wall is for everybody? It's the current opportunity you're in. It's the current opportunity they're in. So I'm in this wall, I'm in this opportunity. I've been trying to lose weight through this means, through this thing, and I can't do it anymore. I'm stuck. You were stuck, and you show like I hit this wall. I was trying to get that result, but I was stuck in this vehicle. I hit this wall. I can't get forward because the vehicle sucks. Like I cannot, it's impossible for me to move forward because of the vehicle I'm in. So for me to have success, I have to leave this vehicle, which is scary because my whole life I was taught this is the way to do it. I have to get out of that vehicle and come over here to a new vehicle. And it's like, oh, scary. But I gotta show them, like, I was willing to do that. Like, my whole life I learned this is the way to do it. And as soon as I was to say, okay, I'm not getting my result, no matter how hard I try, I'm stuck in this wall, I'm stuck in this vehicle, I'm gonna go on a journey because I have to figure this out. I have to get that's my goal. Then I walk over here, boom. And so then I started doing something, started happening. Okay, and that's where I start telling the story where I have this epiphany. And the epiphany I have is the new opportunity. Like I had this epiphany, wow, I need this thing. And that brings down that presents this new opportunity. So this is a new vehicle I get into. I'm like, oh, I had this epiphany. And all of a sudden I realized that was the thing. And I got into this new vehicle. Like, sweet, I'm in this vehicle. It's different. I don't know if it's going to work yet. I just got here. Now what do I do? Okay, well, I have a plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try this, this, and this. And so I go and I start on this plan. This is my plan to try to get that result. I'm going through this plan. And somewhere through the plan, there's this conflict that happens. As I was trying to execute this conflict, and I struggled, and I couldn't get through because of this thing that happened. But then at the end, two things happened. Number one is I achieved it, or I didn't, but I achieved it. So I got my external desires, which is cool. But the coolest thing is not that. The coolest thing, look how I transformed. The internal desires I had back there, like that's what actually mattered. I'm showing them the resolution of the hero's two journeys. And that's the Epiphany Bridge script. Is that amazing? Yes. Oh, anyway, I got chills just going through, like I'm so excited. And so that's kind of the process. And so I also broke it down into questions that make it super easy for us to be able to have it, right? So the first, if you look through this, there's a couple elements. There's 8 elements. Backstory, desires, the wall, the epiphany, the plan, the conflict, achievement, and transformation. Okay, and I spent that night, if you guys watch my Snapchats, that's what I was doing until 4:30 that morning was this. Like I was just like nuts and I'm like freaking out on Snapchat. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening, but I'm freaking out, like, oh. So I wrote these questions in a way that gets me to actually do the right thing, right? So the backstory. So what's your backstory that gives us a vested interest in your journey? It's not what's your backstory, but why should I care about you? So that's the first question. And then you answer that. Well, boom, you tell the backstory that gives them a vested interest in your journey. Number 2 is what is the desire you wanted to accomplish? What were the external struggles you were dealing with? And what are the internal struggles? I'm going to share those. Then we have the wall. What's the wall or the problem you hit within your current opportunity that started you on this new journey? It was physically impossible for me to grow and get what I wanted because of this opportunity I'm stuck in. Okay, then you had this epiphany that you experienced as you went on this journey that introduced you to this new opportunity. Then you had a plan. What was the plan you created to achieve your desire? And what was the conflict you experienced along the way? What was the result of what you achieved? And what was the transformation that you experienced? That's the magic. Yeah. All right, now that you have that, inside your notes, you'll notice that we have the Epiphany Bridge questions. These are the questions you can ask yourself to kind of walk yourself through the script, okay? This helps a lot of times, especially when I don't know what to say or what I'm going to say. I remember the first probably 2 or 3 years after we designed this, I used to cut this out and I literally had it printed and taped to my monitor. So when I would be going live on Facebook or Instagram or I'd be doing a webinar or whatever, and as I was telling a story, I would glance down so I could remember the script as well. And question number 1, the backstory. What is your backstory that gives us the vested interest in your journey? I would see that, right? And I'd be like, oh, here's my backstory. I tell them, right? I get down that, look down and say, okay, what's number 2? Your desires. What was it that I wanted to accomplish? I wanted to accomplish this blah, 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 right? And I said, okay, what was the external struggle I was dealing with? The external struggle I was doing, and I would literally just go through the script and time after time after time, I would just nail it because the script was so good. So at that same FAT event, the Funnel Hackathon event, I actually went live on my phone to my Facebook group, and I did this, I went through this exact script. And so I'm gonna actually show you guys that so you can see me doing it in action, and you have very good context, like this is how it actually works. So with that said, here is the Facebook Live of me doing this script, following it to the T as an example for what you guys are gonna be doing here in a few minutes. All right, ready, set, go. How many of you guys were able to get your story kind of sketched out in a process? Awesome. How many of you guys are feeling better about that piece of it? Nobody raised it. No. I feel worse. Okay. So I'm going to do mine right now because I think it'd be fun. And if I bomb, it doesn't matter. I'm not selling anything, so who cares? Right? That's the nice thing. Is like, I messed up. Like, doesn't matter. You're not selling anything yet. All right. So I'm going to do Cindy Diestrom's going to Facebook Live video. I'm going to call this one my ClickFunnels story. story. Stop. And I'm just gonna call that, and I'm just gonna do story time. My Facebook Lives, it seems like the most interaction a lot of times is me like in my backyard with the crickets telling a story, or me with my kids just like talking. Like it's really fun and interesting. And so it doesn't always have to be like a sales pitch. Stuff like this will build community better than almost anything else you can do. So I wrote out in the book my Epiphany Bridge story, and then as I was going through this, that's when I realized that like I was only telling half the story. Because anyway, so it's kind of cool. So I have mine all right here. So if you want to see like when I did the exercise, it's all in there inside the book. You can go through all the questions and kind of see how it all relates, and then how it kind of relates back to this. So what's going to happen is when we do the webinars tonight, the perfect webinar, to start going through it, what happens is typically someone will get on the webinar, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the big domino, and I'm going to tell my Epiphany Bridge story. And the goal of that Epiphany Bridge story is to knock the domino down. And sometimes it is. That's all it takes, and then they're ready to buy. And other times it doesn't, and that's when we get into all the content of the webinar, the 3 secrets. We're trying to, like, anything that's holding that domino up, we're trying to knock it out. But that's kind of the concept. So this is the story, the Epiphany Bridge, or the origin story is what I'm typically telling at the first of my presentation, and that's kind of the context of where this is going to fit, as you'll see more later on today. So, all right. We need like a high top chair someday so I can sit in those things for stuff like this, but I'm just going to sit down here. And hopefully, I ended up going off Wi-Fi yesterday, right, to make it work? All right, LTE. Yeah, do we? Oh, heck yeah. But John's gonna grab my story stool.
You have your own stool for telling stories?
I do now. I didn't before. Welcome to the story stool. Yeah, Dave's got. Oh, I'm so excited. The stool story. Thank you very much. All right, cool. The story stool. Hey guys, the story stool. It's a story stool time.
How much is the story stool?
Well, this story stool is autographed by a storyteller. Just kidding. All right. Okay, I've never told a story live in all the details, so I'm gonna go through and hopefully won't mess up. I've got my notes.
You will.
I'm sure I will. Okay, here we go. And we're going live in 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, this is Russell. Hope you guys are all doing awesome. So I'm here right now in a room of, I think, 48 or 49 amazing entrepreneurs. And you guys all see me again. And we've been talking about storytelling and like how to tell your story and kind of the origin story of where you got started and what got you into what you're doing. And so I've been challenging all of them to go and do that. And I thought it would be kind of cool if I just told you guys my story. And some of you guys have heard pieces or parts of this, but probably not the whole thing. And so what I'm gonna do is just kind of share with you guys a story about ClickFunnels and why this for me became my new opportunity, the thing that I'm so excited about and why I have so much passion. Some people say, Russell, you've been talking about ClickFunnels every day for the last 2.5 years. I'm like, I know, because I'm so excited every day. So some of the backstory, if you don't know, so I got started in this business, I guess it's almost like 13 or 14 years ago now. And when I did, I was a college kid. I was going to Boise State University, which is just down the road from it right now. And I was like a wrestler, which means I wrestled and I had to go to school. So I barely graduated. Like, it was like barely. Like, I think my cumulative was a 2.1, which means I got a whole bunch of C's and like 1B over like 5 years. So it's kind of painful. But I graduated, which made my mom happy and was pretty cool. But during school, as I was wrestling, I started learning about this internet marketing stuff. And you have to remember, this is 12 years ago, it's before Facebook, it's before Instagram, all these kind of things. Like, we had Google kind of, and in fact, I don't even remember how we were driving traffic. We didn't have website, anything. Like, I was using Front Page. Some of the old timers remember Front Page. So I was creating these things in Front Page, and it was pretty bad. So I was doing that, but I believed that it was possible. I saw people like some of my mentors were Armin Morin and Alex Mandossian and some of these guys who were making money online. I was like, God, if these guys can do it, like, I'm pretty sure I can do it. So that was my goal I wanted to accomplish. Now, the other side of that I don't really share a lot of times it wasn't just that I wanted to make money. Like, that was a desire I had, but like the bigger desires, I had just gotten married to my beautiful wife. We're still married today. It's been almost 15 years this year, which is amazing. And I married her. She was working full time to support me, her jobless wrestling husband. And I don't know about you, but like, I was envisioning like when I got married, I'd be like the man and I would be like the supporter. And it was honestly pretty tough for me, like that she was supporting me and I didn't have anything to contribute other than like, I'm gonna go to school and wrestle and hopefully, and it was hard for me. And I remember like, I gotta figure out a way to contribute. Like, I don't want her doing everything. And and so that was like the real driving factor. Like, if I can, in fact, my goal is if I can make $1,000 a month, that would like match what she was making. We weren't making very much money at the time. And I was like, then like I feel like I'm contributing as well. And so that was my goal. Like I need to figure out how to do this. And I tried all sorts of stuff. I was trying eBay. I was trying Craigslist. I was doing stuff. We had like I had like a $20 a month, which was like big deal for me. I was excited, but like none of the things really hit big. And about the time I started learning about information marketing. In fact, I was at a post office mailing something I'd bought from eBay in this huge awkward box. I thought it was going to sell huge, and I ended up selling for like a $1.50 or something. I lost tons of money, and then I did a postage, and it was a nightmare. I'm sitting in the line at the post office next to this dude who had a big box full of CDs, like thousands of them. I'm like, dude, what are you selling? He's like, well, I have one CD, I sell it, and I burn it. And I'm like, so these are orders for like the month? He's like, no, these are my orders for this week. I'm like, I'm doing the math. How much you selling for? He's like, $67. I was like, oh my gosh. And I had this I need to sell information. Like that is the future. So I started trying to figure out information. I started doing stuff. My very first product I ever created was a DVD on how to make potato guns. I'm sure some of you guys have heard this story before. So I started making potato guns, and it was working really, really good. But then what I was doing is I was going to Google and I was buying ads on Google, and we were making some money back and forth. But eventually, I probably had, I don't know, 4 or 5 months of success, and then Google changed their algorithm and it got really, really hard. And the harder thing for me was like during this time, like it was me building things in front page, and like I had to figure out how to like FTP pages and images, and then how to go to PayPal and get the order button. It was super techie, and I'm not a techie person at all. But after Google changed their algorithm, we tried some stuff, and I remember one of my friends called me. He's Mike Filson. Some of you guys may know Mike, and he said, Russell, I figured out like how to make this whole internet marketing game work again. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, is your potato gun thing still making money? I was like, no, like I can't break even, I can't make a profit. And he's like, well, I went back to all my sites and I added these things. And he called them OTOs. I was like, what's an OTO? He's like, it's an upsell, a one-time offer. I'm like, oh. And so he's like, I added these upsells, and people started buying the upsells. And suddenly, like, I'm making 2 or 3 times as much money from everything I sold. And I was like, dude, I can actually do that. And so I remember jumping online, I was Googling like potato guns, trying to figure out like, what would my upsell be? I don't know. Like all I had was a potato gun DVD. And I met this dude up in northern Idaho who actually made potato guns and drop shipped them. And I was like, dude, if I sell those, will you drop ship them for me? He was like, yeah, like I'd love to not have to sell these things. And so I partnered with him, and I started selling DVDs, and people started buying this upsell. And it was the first thing I made a funnel. And I was like, this is a funnel, like, and that was like this new thing. And I was so excited. And so I had this epiphany, like, this is the future. Like if I can make more funnels, like this funnel's gonna make me like, I don't know, $20, $30 a day, but what if I had 2 funnels or 3 or 5 or 10? And so I started going a little bit crazy, and I created funnels in the couponing market, which by the way is a horrible market. People in that market do not like to spend money, so I don't do that one. But I did couponing, we did dating, we did weight loss, we did network marketing. I've done diabetic supplements. We've done, and that's like the ones on top of my head. Like there's like, if I show you guys, there's like a trail of thousands of offers, some that worked and a lot more that didn't work. But we were doing these things over and over, and my plan was like, if I had 10 of them, they're each making $100 a day or 20 or 50 or like whatever it is. So I was doing this, and at first it was working, but like, the problem I kept running into was like front pages for someone like me was hard, and I like do these pages and mine looked ugly. Other people's like looked awesome. So then I had a designer, and he would design these things. So I'd make it a front page was ugly. I'd send to him, he'd design it, looked cool, and I put it up. But then it was up, and then I couldn't do anything. I couldn't touch it again. Like I had one shot, and then I had to like bug him. So then I hired like a web guy to go and like do edits for me. And then like I was just using PayPal, and I couldn't do anything else. And so then someone like invented like a one-click upsell. And so I was like, dude, I need that. So I had to hire a programmer to connect that to the next thing. And like, it kept getting more and more complicated to the point where like soon I wasn't able to do anything. I could just look at it and be like, change that. And then they try to change it and they didn't. I'm like, no, like move it over here. And then they put it in the wrong spot. And like, it would take days, sometimes weeks going back and forth with the guys in Romania and India and everywhere trying to get them just to move an image, make it a little bit bigger, or like things that like were so common sense, but I couldn't like actually do it. And it drove me nuts. And about that time, one of my friends and partners, in fact, he may not be in the room right now. Is Todd in here still? No. Oh, he's already eating lunch, so he's already gone. But Todd was like one of my partners that were doing these things with me, and he saw my frustration. He's like, what if we built something where like, and the joke was like that Russell could actually like edit the website and actually could move things so he quit bugging us all the time. And I was like, dude, that'd be awesome. He's like, okay, that's what we're gonna create. And that day we sat in front of a whiteboard, started mapping out like what would it look like and how would it work. And so we mapped out this vision of what became ClickFunnels. And he went home and actually built it. And then it was funny, him and then another partner we brought in was Dylan Jones. They were working, he did the editor. And they would build part of it, and they're like, we need to like make this so simple Russell can do it. So they do it, and they're like, hey, Russell, test this. And I'd log in, and I'm like, hey, how do I do it? He's like, we're not gonna tell you. You gotta figure it out on your own. I'm like, okay. So I'd like do some stuff, and if I could figure it out, then like, good, we got it. If I got stuck, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Then like, hey, we didn't do it intuitively enough. So I went back and forth for probably 6 or 7 months, and finally it was a point where like I got it, I was like, if I can do this, like, then anyone can. And at first it was just a tool for me. Like, that was really the initial goal of ClickFunnels. Like, I think Todd and Dylan were like, this way Russell will quit bugging us and I don't have to design his sites anymore or redo his headers, like all this stuff that was happening. And then after I started using it and I was having success, I was like, we have to make this a tool for everyone. Like, it'll free all entrepreneurs. And like, it freed me. And so because of that, I was able to start creating funnels quickly. I went from having 5 or 6 guys, and it would take us on average almost 2 to 3 months every single time to build a funnel, to where I was actually able to do it by myself in like an hour and a half sometimes less, which was cool. And so the cool thing is, like, I was able to achieve that and have success. We started rolling out funnels like crazy. Some of you guys probably remember seeing a lot of them. I still do a lot of them because they're so much fun to do. But the cooler thing for me was the other side. Like, I was able to make money to support my wife and support my kids. Because I didn't no longer had to spend 3 months doing something, and my time to be with my kids is completely freed up. Like, I have a chance to, I go home every day and play with my kids. I'm not like stressing out trying to like talk to programmers in India at 3 in the morning and like stressing all this stuff. Like, it just works. And that was really the biggest thing for me. And it's been an amazing thing. In fact, now my kids are using ClickFunnels. They're building stuff in ClickFunnels, and it's like not just for me, it's not just a product. It's a mission. I'm seeing people's lives change. I'm seeing other people who had messages but they couldn't get them out because they couldn't move things around on this stupid page. Well, now like the power's back in their hand, and that's what fires me up, is being able to help entrepreneurs and that kind of thing. So that's kind of my ClickFunnels story. So if you guys haven't heard it before, I want to share that with you guys and just share why I'm so passionate about this. And for me, it's not just I talk about this all the time, but like, it's not a matter if you're going to become a ClickFunnels member, it's when, because it's the only way to do what we're talking about. Like, the only alternative is to do what I just used to do 10 years ago and hire guys in Romania and India and the Philippines, and have a team of 30 people to be able to move an image. Or you can just use ClickFunnels, and it gives you and me, the entrepreneurs, the power back, which is awesome. So I hope that helps you guys, and I hope you guys see why I'm so passionate about ClickFunnels. And with that said, I'm going to check out. And if you like this, comment down below. If you have any friends who are like, what is that ClickFunnels thing? Share this to them, tag them down below so they can see why I'm so passionate, and probably why you're so passionate too. So thanks, you guys. Talk to you guys all soon. Bye. Woo. Yay. Okay, you guys getting this? Are you feeling a little more comfortable? Like, okay, I can actually do this. How many of you guys are like a little nervous? How many of you guys are excited? How many of you guys are a little bit of both? I totally understand. At the Funnel Hackathon event, the next day I had everyone go, and they all found different corners here in the office. Someone went outside. I made them all do it into their Facebook groups to actually just try it. And people were freaked out. It was funny to watch how nervous they were, especially people who nowadays are like the big gurus online. Like, they were here the very first time, scared to death to do it, and I forced them all to do it. So I'm not going to force you guys to go live to your groups, but if you do have a group, it's a great place to cut your teeth, but we are gonna have you guys record it today, which is gonna be fun, okay? But there's one last piece, because the Epiphany Bridge script is great. It's how you build a movement, how you get people excited, how you get them to want to join you on the journey, but it doesn't ask for a sell. There's no call to action in it. So there's one last script that comes from the .com Secrets book that we're gonna bump on the end of the Epiphany Bridge script. It's called the Who, What, Why, How script, okay? And it's the simplest of all of our scripts, but it's what gets somebody to actually give you money. So after you've done the Epiphany Bridge script, you build relationship, rapport, and desire for the thing you want, then you transition to the Who, What, Why, How script, okay? And the good news about the Who, What, Why, How script is that the Epiphany Bridge story, you already told the who. So you can literally skip step number 1 in the script and it'll still work, okay? So you skip who. The way the Who, What, Why, How script works is you say, okay, here's who I am. Hey, my name is Russell Brunson. What do you have? I've got a really cool product I created called .com Secrets. That's the book that shows every single way to build a funnel, blah, 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 right? Why do they need it? The reason why you need this is if you want to grow your business online, you're going to need a funnel to be successful. How do I get it? Click on the link down below and you get your own copy. That's it. Who, I how. It's so simple, okay? But again, because you already did the who in the Epiphany Bridge script, you can skip that and you transition to what. What do you have? Okay, so I finished my Epiphany Bridge script and I transitioned to like, all right, and what I have today, after going through that entire journey, is this amazing product I created, this course I created, this book I created, this whatever, right? This thing I created that's amazing. Tell them what you have, okay? Why do they need it? The reason why you would need this is because if you're struggling with this, or this, or this, or this is why you need it. Okay. Number 3 is how do you get it? How you get it is click on the link down below, or fill out the form on the side, or go to my website, or however they're going to get it. This is how you get it. And that's it. Who, what, how. Okay. In the homework, I'll have the section. I'll put the section from the .com Secrets book where I teach you who, what, why, how script. I will include that in the workbook, so you can actually see that as you're kind of going through it. So that's the who, what, why, how script. If you want for bonus points, you can add these last 4 other options, which is catch. Like, what's the catch on this? The catch is like, I want to help you guys be successful. And you know, you're my beta group. You're the first person to see people going through this. That's why it's so cheap. Okay, urgency. I want you to sign up right now because this is a beta group, and you know, whatever, you add some urgency, you got a guarantee, and you can recap the offer. Okay, you don't have to have those, but sometimes it helps to close by adding in the catch, urgency, guarantee, and recap. And again, you'll see notes on how to do that inside the workbook. And so that's kind of it. The Who, What, Why, How script. Okay, all right. So that leads me to right now. I know some of you guys are like, oh no, Russell's going to give us some homework. This is not going to be fun. This is going to be scary. So your homework is, first off, you got to grab a phone. Hopefully you have a phone. I want you to grab your cell phone, your smartphone. If you don't have one, find some kid on the street, grab theirs. It doesn't even matter. When I did my How to Make Potato Gun course back in the day, I didn't have a camera, so I went and borrowed one. So if you don't have a phone, go borrow one. I don't care. But you're going to grab a phone, you're going to set it up, and you're going to record this, and you don't have to stream it live. This is just for you initially, because I promise the first few times, it's not going to be comfortable, and you're going to be really bad at it. Okay, but that's okay, because if you keep practicing, you get better and better and better. But when you set up your phone and click record, and then have the questions for the Epiphany Bridge script right there, and I really want you to read it and say, okay, the backstory. What's my backstory? It gives us vested interest. And then tell your backstory, okay? What's your desire? This is my desire. This is my external fear. This is my internal fear. Here's the wall that I hit, okay? Here's the epiphany I had. Here's the plan. Here's the conflict. Here's the achievement. Here's the transformation. Skip the who, what, why, how. If you want to add urgency, scarcity, guarantee, recap. That's it. Okay, that's your video. First one's gonna be horrible because you're gonna be looking back and forth. Okay, do that one, and then after you get it done, do it again. Do it again. Do it a couple times so you feel comfortable. Okay, and if you need to go look at the question time and come back, that's fine. You can edit it out. You know how people on YouTube, all the kids nowadays do the jump cuts. Like, people are used to that. So you can literally like look at the thing, come back, nail the line. Look at it, come back, nail, and like make a video, and then just on your phone. Like, I literally on my phone, I think it's Apple Movie or whatever is on your phone. Like, you can edit on your phone, or hire someone from Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com for $5 or $10, and they can edit it for you. Whatever it is, like, I just want you to present this way, and then get a video clip that you can use inside of your funnel. Okay, and again, this first one is gonna be the worst one you ever do. That's okay. The whole goal of this is just to go through the entire process once so you can be successful doing it, and then you can get better at it over time. Okay, if you saw my original video of me pitching my Potato Gun DVD, it was the worst thing ever. Like, I don't know how anybody ever bought it ever, but I did it, right? Shaved head Russell, awkward, nervous, glasses on, like so scared of everything. I was pitching a Potato Gun DVD. I didn't even have a script. I was just like, hey, you wanna shoot some potatoes? I made a Potato Gun DVD that teaches you how. Like, that was like how I started, right? You at least have a script to follow and some process, and you can look at mine, you can model it. But again, I know it's gonna be scary, but the good thing about this is no one's gonna see this except for you. Okay? Set it up, film it once, film it twice, film it 10 times. I don't care how many times every time you do it, you'll get better at telling your stories. But film it till we have one video that we can actually use inside of the funnel. Okay? And feel free to edit it, have your kids edit it, go online, have someone to edit it. That way you've got this video that then we're gonna upload. As you'll see, well, the goal is to upload it to Voomly, and then we can install it into your funnel tomorrow. So that's kind of the game plan. This is an assignment I think is going to make most of you guys nervous, but it'll be awesome. So again, it's Epiphany Bridge script, synced with the Who, What, Why, How script. Record that. When you get it done, upload it to Voomly. If you don't want to do that, we'll show you guys tomorrow on the funnel building day. In fact, don't even stress about uploading right now. Just record the video, try to get it edited. Tomorrow we'll show you how to upload it to Voomly. We'll get it embedded in the funnel and a bunch of other cool things. That sound good? All right. This was a scarier day, I know. Especially for the introverts like me. It's like, this is scary. You want me to like record myself talking? It's like, yeah, you want to change the world, you got to step out of your shell. Okay? You got to do it. In fact, I'm going to show you guys a clip right now. This is from Garrett White. It's one of the very, actually, it was the very first Funnel Hacking Live event we ever had. And he gave this quote about the fact that we all suck when we get started. So I'm going to cue that up right now. Check that out and hopefully give you guys some confidence.
So first off, understand no matter what you try, in the beginning it's going to suck. Because you suck. But you'll get better and you'll suck less as you keep doing this, and eventually you'll suck less so little that you'll actually be good. But just surrender to the fact that you're going to suck.
So yeah, we all suck at first, but eventually you'll suck so little, you'll eventually be good, right? Just like Garrett said. In fact, you got one more thing. Here's a clip of me doing my very first event. I want you guys to see like how painful it could be. In fact, actually, the first time I'm going to show you, this is the very first time I recorded a video. You'll see I had my shirt and my tie on. I started recording, and this is how bad it is. I won't spoil what's going to happen, so you'll see it, but this is the very first video I ever created, and hopefully it'll give you confidence, because you're like, if that nerd can do this, I guarantee I can do it. So here's the first video I ever created of me online.
Hi, I'm Russell Brunson. Welcome to thesecondtier.com. I'm here to help you get in. Okay. Hi, I'm Russell Brunson, and welcome to thesecondtier.com. I'm here, should I say that? I'm here to introduce you. What'd you say? Hi, I'm Russell Brunson, and welcome to thesecondtier.com. I want to help you get started with your affiliate training today. The first thing you need to do is click on the link above me and download our affiliate. That was real cool, the flushing toilet in the background.
Okay, so that was bad. And then a couple months later, I got invited to speak at an event. Here's the very first time I had a chance to speak in front of people. Once again, so scared. I wish I could go back to the 21-year-old Russell, however old I was, and be like, dude, I know this is painful. I know you're introverted. I know this is like the worst thing ever. But I promise you, if you keep doing this, in 20 years from now, you will have an audience of people. You have a chance to change their life. But you have to become someone different, and you only become it by actually doing it over and over and over again. So here's the very first time I spoke at an event.
But what I wanted to talk about tonight is kind of a broad overview, hopefully help you to get better information out of the whole internet marketing business. This is a lot bigger group than I had planned on.
All right, now you want to go one step further? Here's the very first time I ever actually sold something at an event. I tried to pitch something. Nobody bought, as you will see. Nobody jumped up and ran the back of the room. It was my very first time ever doing a pitch. And for some of you guys, this will be your first time doing a pitch. So you're going to see me. Here's Vulnerable Russell. First time doing an actual sales pitch. And look how good I am at closing. You guys are going to be really impressed with this.
Okay, am I getting close on time? If you do join the affiliate bootcamp, it'll give you lifelong training. It's a $47 a month value. You'll get it for free. Who would like a piece of that? Here's my irresistible offer. And hopefully you guys learned a lot from this presentation.
Give him a standing ovation. He did a great job.
All right, so there it is. There's me trying to be an expert. 20 years ago, trying to figure this stuff out, being so scared. Not even what I'm saying. Like, do you see my clothes? Like, who wants a piece of that? Like, it's so embarrassing. But that's why I got started, okay? So again, at first you're gonna suck, and that's okay. That's part of the process. That's why we're doing this, right? So you're recording it by yourself. No one's gonna see it, right? And then do it again, and do it again. And eventually, like Garrett White said, you'll suck so little, or something like that. Eventually you'll be good, okay? And again, this right now, this is the beginning for you, right? This is me 20 years ago. This is you today. I'm so excited because most of you guys will start further than when I started, right? If you look where I started versus you right now, I guarantee you're cooler than 21-year-old Russell, who was so scared, who was so nervous, but he felt that calling. He felt the call to contribution. It's like, I know I'm supposed to change people's lives. This doesn't feel comfortable. I don't want to do this. But I kept feeling that tug and that calling. I'm like, okay, I'm going to show up. Okay, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up, and I don't know how to show up, but everyone else seems like they wear a suit and tie, so I'm going to wear a suit and tie. I feel uncomfortable, right? I pinned the microphone on my tie, the cord's like coming off the side. Like, I was so shy and embarrassed and awkward, but I did it, and I didn't want it. I remember wanting to quit over and over and over again. I'm like, no, I can't quit. Like, I got to do this. Like, that tug, that pull, whatever that was, like, kept happening, kept showing up. And eventually I started figuring out. Eventually people started listening. Eventually I started having success, okay? And so that's what I want you guys to understand. On day 10, we're going to get into traffic a little bit. And traffic's going to be one of the things that's going to help you guys get more and more comfortable. So I'm going to pre-warn you for that. But day 10 is when we start driving traffic. And it's going to give you guys the ability to really start mastering how you speak and your stories and things like that. But for today, we need a presentation selling your offer. So that's your homework. Go and do it. And again, if you guys are all in on this process, you're like, I know this is painful, but man, I want to commit to this. I know I want to change the world. I got to do it today. Go to imallin.com. Again, when you go there, you can upgrade. You get a free year of ClickFunnels. You get a bunch of cool courses and training as well. Go to imallin.com to do a physical commitment that you are all in. You're going all in on this. And with that said, I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on day number 7, where we're going to be actually plugging in this video into the page inside your VSL funnel. Thanks so much, you guys, and we'll see you mañana. What's up, everybody? Welcome to day number 6 of the One Funnel Away Challenge. We're like more than halfway done, which is crazy. I hope you are learning a lot. I hope the last day you had a chance to go play inside of ClickFunnels and see how simple and easy it actually is. Be like, man, I could actually do this. I still remember the very first time I got access to ClickFunnels. And again, I had 2 co-founders, Todd Dickerson and Dylan Jones, who were building ClickFunnels. And their whole job, I think it's because I was probably the most annoying client they ever had. Like, I was building so many funnels and I couldn't do anything. So I was like just making videos, telling them how to change things and tweak things. They're like, how do we get it so that Russell can just do this on his own? Which is partly why we actually created ClickFunnels initially. But I remember when they were doing it, they would like, have me log in and have me make a video myself as I was building the funnel to see like if I got stuck or if I got confused, wherever I was at. So I would try stuff and I would like try to build it. I was having so much fun. 'Cause I'm like, I can actually move the headline by myself. I can change the text. Like, this is like, it was so much fun.